Have you ever been frustrated because someone didn't do what you expected? I think everybody that's been in a leadership position has felt this. But the question we don't ask ourselves often enough, did they know exactly what success looked like? As leaders, we spend a lot of time talking about accountability, but accountability doesn't start after someone misses the mark. It starts long before the work ever begins. It starts with clear expectations. I've seen leaders become frustrated with employees who genuinely believed they were doing exactly what was expected of them. The the leader thought the employee just should have known. The employee thought that they had met the expectation, but who's right? Maybe both, or maybe the expectation was never as clear as the other person believed. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is assuming. We just assume people understand our standards. We just assume that they know what quality looks like. We assume they interpret our instructions the same way we do. And the problem is that assumptions create confusion, and confusion eventually becomes frustration for everyone. But here is something that I believe, and that's unspoken expectations become unfair expectations. If it's important enough to hold someone accountable for, it's important enough to communicate it clearly. That means explaining not just the task, but the outcome. Not just that what needs to be done, but why it matters. Not just when it's due, but what success actually looks like. One of the simplest leadership habits I've ever developed is asking someone to explain that expectation back to me. Not because I'm testing them, but because I'm, you know, confirming the communication. If they describe something different than what I intended, that's not their failure. That's valuable feedback for me as a leader. 5 extra minutes of clarity today can prevent 5 difficult conversations later. Think about how many workplace frustrations could be avoided if leaders just spent more time creating understanding instead of making assumptions, right? So before assigning your next project, ask yourself one question. Have I clearly defined what success looks like? Then ask the other person to explain it back in their own words. Because people can't consistently meet expectations they've never clearly been given. Thanks for watching. This is another Leadership Minute from Hydelogix. Better thinking, better leaders, better futures.